Hey YouTube, welcome back to Fiction Mashup. Today we're going to be seeing if Omni Man could conquer the S-Class. Now, we originally thought up of the idea of analyzing this fight because of the fan animation that was made on YouTube of it.
When it comes to Omni Man's feats, he has an array of them. For example, when he was in space training Mark, um, he pretty much claims that there was an asteroid the size of Texas, and he was able to redirect it pretty much. It doesn't really seem like he struggled with it either, the way he says it. Other feats that he has is going toe to toe with the likes of Thrag, who is an extremely powerful Viltrumite, if not one of the strongest easily. Another feat that he has, which is him going to the planet Viltrum and destroying it. Now, obviously, he had two other Viltrumites doing it, but the point is, they still needed him for that huge effort.
Yeah, he was at least a third of the equation regarding that. Now, given I will also know that somebody is going to be in the comment sections typing out Omni Man didn't destroy an actual planet; it was already partially destroyed. Now, this is true, although the planet was simply unstable. All of the planet's mass was still intact and still all had to be destroyed through sheer kinetic energy caused by Omni-Man. So this is still a massive feat for him, even if he was 1/3 of the equation. Now, I do think that Omni-Man does reach planetary levels of power just because of how simply the planet was completely obliterated. There weren't any pieces floating around anywhere in space. The planet was simply just gone in space. That's how much energy Mark, Nolan, and the other Viltrumite produced from their attack. So it's pretty safe to say that Omni Man has at least planetary levels of power. Going over the topic of Omni Man's speed, this is a very complicated matter as his speed showings vary greatly throughout the show. Of this would be Omni Man getting tagged by a simple laser beam shot from one of Cecil's guns in season 1 of the Invincible series, all the way to crossing an entire galaxy's distance in a mere 2 weeks. This should put his speeds at up to billions of times the speed of light. For those wanting proof and explanation of this, it would take light over 100,000 years to cross the Milky Way galaxy, moving at the speed it normally does in a vacuum. Yet Nolan was able to cross this distance, or a distance somewhat similar to it, in a mere 2 weeks. So there is actually an explanation for why this is. Now, the reason for these variations of speed is actually explained within the material provided for the Invincible universe. There is a scan of the databook showing and explaining Alan's differences in speed. I'll show the scan up on screen now and also explain what it means. As you can see, it does say that his reflexes are enhanced in direct proportion to the speeds attained, meaning that if Alan the alien's normal cruising speed was about the speed of light, but he speeds up to 10 times the speed of light in order to travel a great distance, his reaction speed would be 10 times faster. This explains all the inconsistencies that we see in Omni-Man's speed, but this actually makes perfect sense, as when Omni-Man was tagged by simple light speed attacks, he was moving at a relatively low movement speed of not even the speed of light. However, he's able to react to much faster attacks from characters like Thrag and Invincible while moving at high speeds. Now, say if Omni-Man was moving at billions of times the speed of light, his reaction speed should also be billions of times the speed of light as well. The only problem for him is the fact that he cannot do this instantaneously. If you were to think of Superman from DC Comics and how that he does have the fastest movement speed out of anybody in the Justice League besides Flash, that is true, but he does need to speed up to that speed in order to attain it. You can think of the same thing for Omni-Man in this sense. Going over his general attributes, he does have nearly limitless stamina, high resistance to heat, and cold as well. It's been stated that he's been able to resist heat all the way up to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit without his skin even blistering. Now, they also have extremely great endurance, as shown in the Mark versus Thrag fight, where they were able to fight on the surface of a star to the point where their skin had burned completely off of their body and still keep fighting. So we know that their endurance is extremely impressive, and you would need to cause massive damage to his body in order to kill him. While his endurance is very impressive, Viltrumites do also have weaknesses that can be exploited, the most notable of which being their inner ear. As anybody who has watched Invincible undoubtedly knows, emitting a certain frequency noise will discombobulate a Viltrumite and temporarily get rid of their ability to fly, making them extremely vulnerable and sometimes even weaker.
So now moving on to the S-Class heroes. So for the S-Class heroes, we're going to be using the strongest heroes, as Omni Man would pretty much just one-shot the weaker ones. So we have Flashy Flash. Flashy Flash is stated to attack at light speed and pretty much just use physical attacks, no more than that. Just imagine Speedo Sonic, but much stronger and faster. That's literally who Flashy Flash is. Now we have Bang. Bang is a well-known martial artist, and one of his abilities is that he can use his opponent's force against them defensively. So, for example, if you're slightly stronger than him and you like punch him, he can use that same punch against you. So he'll use your own power against yourself. He can also he has light speed reaction, and he can fight at light speeds pretty casually, as he went up against Monster Garou. Monster Garou, the same character that is faster than Flashy Flash. Now we move on to Tatsumaki. Tatsumaki is pretty simple. She's an Esper that uses telekinesis on anything. She scales to other S-Class heroes who are also light speed. She can create energy barriers and energy-based attacks. She was also able to contort all of City Z with her telekinesis powers. Uh, by the way, City Z is literally the size of a country. So that's that's pretty huge. And now we move on to Blast. Now, Blast pretty much has the biggest chance against Omni Man, as he was stated to be the strongest S-Class hero. And not only that, it was also stated that he can literally solo all the S-Class at once. Blast casually outsped Flashy Flash to the point where Flashy Flash couldn't even see Blast appear behind him through sheer speed, literally. He can also create multiple portals at the same time and seal them together to trap anyone inside. Can use Gravity Knuckle to increase the force of his punches to the point where it could damage Cosmic Garou. And another thing he can do is, let's say, for example, like in the manga panels, there was this part where Cosmic Garou was throwing these super fast punches. Now, obviously, these super fast punches could either heavily damage and possibly kill Blast, but what Blast did is that he used these portals to constantly evade the punches, and then even use Garou's punches against himself by using like his portal ability. So overall, the point of this video is obviously to see who would win. There are two very big scenarios. Well, the one scenario is that if the S class plays it smart, they can definitely beat Omni Man. And how they would do it is basically, first of all, not underestimate him, know that he's a massive threat, and just do everything in their power to stop him before Omni Man gets serious. Now, the other way, another way that Omni Man could win. Well, actually, now the way Omni Man could win is this. So all he has to do, is imagine like a bloodlust in Omni Man. He basically flies so fast that he keeps accelerating to the point where his speed just surpasses all of them, and he just goes through all of them like an instant. Obviously, as Cheeto said before, he can go to millions, if not even billions, the speed of light, which literally casually surpasses all of the S class speed together. So yeah, that's pretty much how it would go. There's two scenarios. Omni Man could win if he's extremely angry or just wants to get it over with, or the S class could win if they play it smart and they don't underestimate him. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, and yeah, we'll see you in another What If battle. Peace.